Leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to the Crunch Time Sports Show with Jeff Iafrate and Booner. It is Friday, April 24th, and we are live to recap round one of the NFL Draft. The Detroit Lions taking Blake Miller, 17th overall. We're going to give our thoughts a day removed, actually less than a day, really like 12 hours removed, I guess would be a better answer. We were at Dog and Pony Show Brewing in Oak Park. Everyone that tuned in, we appreciate you guys. Can go watch the stream. It's up on YouTube right now. Everyone who supported it, it's much appreciated. But today we'll dive in. Brad Holmes spoke to the media, talked about Blake Miller. We have some more stuff on Blake Miller. We'll talk about the second round, third round, what the Lions should do, etc. But how you feeling, Booner? 12 hours removed from the Lions selecting Blake Miller.
I feel unbelievable. I'm fired up, honestly, for the pick. I know. Hey, listen, it's a lot of people are going at the pick, mad about it. Monroe Freeling was on the board. This, that. I told you just before the show the thing that I feel about it. Where, yeah, was Blake Miller number one on everyone's board? Could they have traded up to go get Ruben Bain? Could they have made moves, Jeff? Yeah, they could have. At the end of the day, Brad kept his assets, and I think coming out of day one. I don't know when we're getting grades or not. I thought it was, listen, you got a starting offensive tackle yesterday, which fired me up. You know, that was like one of I think the biggest ask. And I told you before the show, like, you can't expect, like, yeah, we all have guys we love in this draft. Me and you both. I think everyone in Detroit loved Monroe Freeling because of the upside. Only started 18 games, though, in his career. You have to be able to, whether, I see people online getting mad about it, fans getting mad about it. You have to be able to, Jeff, be adaptable and be able to be like, wait a second, we just wanted an offensive tackle and we wanted a starter. Was it our guy? What are the chances of Brad Holmes drafting the guy that we all were pushing? Probably not that high, right? Like, yeah, if it happened, it would have been sick, but you have to be able to adapt a little bit. And when they're like, all right, we're going Blake Miller, we love Blake Miller, they obviously see something in this player over a Monroe Freeling, and they want, and you know what's actually crazy to me? I thought about this morning. The same people who are mad about this pick are the same people who are like, the Lions are in their Super Bowl window. Brad needs to go all in for 2026, 2027 years. And you know what he did today or yesterday? He went more all in on offensive tackle than he would have drafting Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling is a high upside guy that it's going to take time to get him going. It might take him a little bit of time. Blake Miller is ready to go today. He's a 4-year starter, 54, I believe, consecutive starts at the college level. You have to be able to look at the positives, and yeah, there's some negatives. Maybe that ceiling isn't as high as some other offensive tackles. There's still a ceiling to be had, though, and his floor is higher than every single one of the offensive tackles in this draft class, which I think everyone, if you actually take a step back without screaming and yelling and getting mad about the pick, you can actually see, hey, this was a solid pick. Whether it was the player you wanted or not, it was a solid pick. And I think Brad, last night I did a video, Jeff, I gave him an A because we've all just wanted an offensive tackle, and he went and got one that's going to start for you at the right tackle, which allows you to move Penei Sewell over. So I loved the pick. And dude, I had so many people tweeting at me being like, you would have loved anything that he did. Yeah. Like, no, I wouldn't have. But we've talked about Blake Miller ad nauseum about it. I said, hey, my thing was with Blake Miller, hey, trade back, get assets. But Brad made it very well known last night that there were no teams that were hey, credit to you. What teams are going to want to trade up after 12 if there aren't any blue chip guys, right? So credit to you. Hey, there's probably not going to be teams trading up. So just stake at 17. Whoever you love, just take them and roll with them. And they obviously love Blake Miller. And you know what? I like the pick. I'm a fan of the pick.
Yeah, I'm cool with the pick. I know at the time we made the jokes on stream when he was announced. I think my lack of jumping up and down and screaming and excitement is because you have your mind set on a certain player, which that's what a lot of Lions fans are that's why a lot of people are so hurt today. I thought the reactions were ridiculous, in my opinion. Like, some of the people that were crashing out over this pick, like, guys, get a grip, man. It's an offensive tackle. and you need a tackle really bad, if you didn't know. I mean, you signed Larry Borum for $5 million, so there's no question you need a tackle. Now, if you wanted Monroe Freeling, okay, cool. Blake Miller plays the opposite position, but he still plays tackle. He's going to slot right in day one on the other side of Penei Sewell. And I love the fact that he has so much experience. Personally, I think that's one of the more intriguing things. He has never missed a game, missed one practice. And Brad Holmes talked about a lot of things we talked about on the stream, the way he plays the game. When you watch him on tape, that guy mauls people. And that's what the Lions want in a tackle. He just reminds me so much of Taylor Decker. It feels like they're just bringing in a right tackle version of Taylor Decker. That's what it feels like to me. Like, he might not have the upside of Monroe Freeling, but if this guy can be a starting right tackle for you for a decade, you're very happy. I mean, it's like the Ozzie Newsome quote I brought up on the stream. It's like everyone wants home runs, but doubles are okay. And if he's a run, that's okay. If he's a starter for you at right tackle for a while, that's a hit. That's a hit. You know how hard that is to find? I mean, some people get so obsessed with upside, and some guys never reach it. But if you have a guy that has so much experience and he's still getting better, like Brad Holmes talked about, like the last 3 years, every year he's gotten better, then you're really excited about it. I mean, the guy's a high character guy. He's a player with a ton of experience and somebody that was looked at as one of the top tackles this year coming out, and he was going to go in the first round. Like, I don't compare this as I don't compare this to like Tyleek, for example, because Tyleek Williams, we reacted to that live, and nobody expected that. Nobody expected a defensive tackle to go in the first round. Maybe there was a couple people, but most people did not. Everybody knew the Lions were going to take a tackle. Like, I don't know where the surprise comes from or the crash out. Like, guys, okay, the people that are like, why didn't Brad trade up for Ruben Bain? Guys, the picks in front of the Lions, they were never going to trade up to those picks. I mean, they just weren't. If you look at the first, after 10, you have the Cowboys at 11, who traded up with the Dolphins to take Caleb Downs. The Dolphins traded back, so they were staying put at 12. 13 was Ty Simpson. The Rams were not trading back from that pick. 14, Vega. They weren't trading back from that pick. Ruben Bain falls right to the Bucs. There's a 0% chance the Bucs were going to trade that pick and someone else take Ruben Bain. So you had no chance at Ruben Bain. Okay, that's just the reality. I think everyone needs to use critical thinking skills and understand that.
Yeah, you got to be realistic, dude.
So you had basically a choice between Blake Miller or Monroe Freeling, and they went with a guy that they absolutely love. Like, I would rather have Blake Miller over Max Iafrate. Like, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the pick. I have no issue with it. I think he's going to beat out Larry Borum earlier than expected. I really do. I think he's someone that can compete with him right away. So I like it, man. I got no issue with it. I'm excited for today, and we'll talk about that more, towards the end of the show. But plenty of opportunity here, man. Like, it's like, I see Chuck. Jeff, you're wrong. You could just force Matt and Brad can force all the teams to trade with him. Yeah, that's fair, Chuck. Like, that's what people really think, though. It's like, like a mock draft simulator. You could force teams to trade. Those teams were not moving out of those spots. I mean, you were stuck at 17, and you weren't going to trade back because you would risk losing Blake Miller. So they just took him at 17. And they love him, man. I didn't know the Lions loved him. I mean, I should have known better because we've covered him, and he checks every single box the Lions like just a grinder. An absolute grinder. And the Lions, I mean, I should have been more open to the idea. I just always talk for people that know me, and every year we cover the draft. I'm a big upside guy. I always look at, not that I'm obsessed with projects, but guys that have high upsides and can be home runs. Never really talked a lot about Blake Miller. To me, it was just kind of, he was a double, if you want to use that analogy. He was a high floor guy, and I didn't talk him up because it wasn't a player I was necessarily like pumped about. Like, this guy's going to be an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler. But I understand the thought process. I do. I don't think it was a bad pick by any means. I don't. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm happy with it. I got no issue with it. So everyone that's crashing out on Twitter over a tackle when you wanted a tackle, but it wasn't the tackle you wanted, and it wasn't some reach, by the way. Like, I don't understand it. I don't. And I'm usually a guy who crashes out. I don't get it. I really don't.
Dude, I think it's unrealistic. One, the Bain thing. It's unrealistic to expect like a Bucks to be able to be like, yeah, we'll trade back when Ruben Bain's on the board. Or like the Rams, they were obviously dead set on taking Ty Simpson. Like that's who they wanted. They weren't trading back. They had their quarterback right there in place, and they were taking him. So listen, you weren't probably, and the only way you would have got Ruben Bain is if he fell to 17, which was not going to happen. If you're like, hey, I wanted Monroe Freeling over Blake Miller. Okay, so do you want a guy that could start right away or a guy that's going to be just a high upside, something that people don't like a lot is a kind of a project, like where can he get to? He has a lot more things to work on, which I was fine with taking Monroe Freeling. That I mocked him a lot to the Lions. You just can't be like, I can see a little pushback, but you just can't be like crash out mad with getting a right tackle that's a starter for immediately. Like week 1, he's going to be your starting right tackle. There's just no reason to be like, oh, I can't believe Brad, he's the worst. Like, come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be realistic here. Like, let's be realistic.
I mean, and here's the thing, like and I'm glad you brought that up because this whole thing could have changed. This whole show today would have been different if Brad Holmes took Blake Miller over Ruben Bain. He didn't, though. You know what I mean? Then we'd have a different conversation. Now I can talk about why would you pass on Ruben Bain? He's, arguably the best defensive end in the entire draft. He was gone, and there was no chance of you trading up to get him. So you have to accept the fact that he was gone for all the people that maybe that's a part of people crashing out. And then for the Monroe Freeling people, like as much as I loved the intrigue about Monroe Freeling, like I was on board with it. I would have been excited about it. Definitely. I get it. Like I understand he only has 18 starts. Like, that's also something people look at, and maybe the tape in those 18 starts weren't necessarily positive or great. And they see, 50 starts from Blake Miller and they're like, oh yeah, this guy is not only improved every single year, but he's just trying to absolutely take people's will away. I mean, he talked about that actually, the quote that he talked like tell me if this is not like a Detroit Lion, like what this quote is. This is Blake Miller on playing offensive line. He said, you get to go out and take someone's will every play. You get to put them into the ground. At the end of the game, you want to see them looking for the sideline. I mean, like, dude, this guy's a freaking lion, man. Like, I mean, he just is. Every year they draft guys like this that just fit in the box that Detroit Lions players fit in. And he plays the position you need, but this quote, man, could have got him drafted on its own.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I mean,
he's literally like a Dan Campbell and Brad guy. Like when you talk about like, and I know people sometimes hate to hear that, but it's true. Like that's what he is. And and he says it. The good thing about him is he says it and then he actually like does it. You know what I mean? Like he talks about like making sure his body's right to play. He talks about things like this, like you got to go out and take someone's will every play. And then you watch his film. Like we posted a video, Jeff, of him just throwing someone into the ground and just not letting him get up and just kept throwing him and pushing him into the ground. Like he wants to destroy people. Like he has that mentality. And I remember too, I don't know if we have the clip, but we spoke with Blake Miller at an NFL Combine. And when I went back and looked at some of the videos that we had when we spoke with Blake Miller, I think it was either you or Klotz when we were standing there, asked him like, hey, who do you model your game after? And instantly, like, again, he doesn't even know he's going to the Lions at this moment. This is the NFL Combine. He's still meeting with every team. He doesn't even know we're from Detroit, nothing. We just asked, hey, who do you model your game after? And right away, he goes, Penesul, instantly. And it wasn't even like here it is.
Penesul, I think his physicality, finishing blocks, his nastiness is awesome. Also, too, he's athletic, gets out on the perimeter, gets to the second level, gets to the third level, makes blocks downfield.
Being a kid.
Penesul.
Hey. By the way, like he might not look athletic. Like Blake Miller might not look athletic, but I will say this. He's athletic too. I mean, he had a high RAS score. Maybe not Monroe Freeling's RAS score, but he had a really high RAS score, like a 9.90 or something like that. So he is athletic. He's got you guys got to look at what he brings collectively, right? Like people are going to keep talking about Monroe Freeling, and I understand it, but what he brings collectively, 50 plus starts. I mean, a just a boatload of snaps. I mean, just the amount of snaps this guy's played in his career is ridiculous. To never miss a game, that's insane. How he plays football, which guy just likes physicality. He likes trying to take people's will away. And on top of that, the sneaky athleticism that he kind of has as well. Like Brad talked about that. Like he's got some things. People maybe he might be more of like a vanilla prospect. Like, like he didn't steal the show at the combine, or he doesn't play at he plays at Clemson, but it wasn't like he was getting all the attention. But guys, I don't think the drop off between Monroe Freeling and Blake Miller was really that much. I think you're probably looking at more upside, but it wasn't really that bad. Now, the one thing I am with people on, if this is a concern, is like, okay, hey, Brad, what's the plan with this defense? And that's where today and Saturday are going to come into play, is how do they address this defense, now it's time to address the defense. I'm with you guys. Like, I want to see what he can do there. And we're going to feel differently about day 2 and day 3 kind of as the picks go, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think day 1 was a success for Brad Holmes. I thought he'd stay put. He did. I mean, it was hard. He talked about it. I'll play some of the clips actually. But first, before we get to like the trade stuff, I'll play Brad on Blake Miller. So people will kind of, if you missed it, here's Brad Holmes talking about Blake Miller. Let's take a listen.
Really high floor player. I actually was really intrigued. Obviously, he's big, he's tough, he's smart. He's a finisher. He has unbelievable football character, work ethic. I mean, everything from a culture standpoint, he fits that. That's the easy part, but his ability is the stuff that, I mean, he's athletic. He's a good athlete, and it's hard to find guys that can move like that are finishers, which that's what he is. And what's been interesting on him is he probably has no idea, but we've probably been watching Blake for about 3 years now, and he literally has gotten better every single year. Really high.
3 years.
That's insane, dude. That they've like, hey, we've been watching this every year. Like, we're watching him every year. That's homework, dude. That's homework. And you've been like, and he also said in there, like, when they've been watching him, like, they just know, like, Brad, like, right away noticed day 1 in 2023, I think what he said when he first saw him play. He was like, wait, this is a football player. And he said, like, hey, he has a lot of things to work on, get stronger, work in different parts of his game and improve. And obviously 2023 is like a freshman or sophomore. He's a young player. And then he said the next year when he went back and watched him, he was like, oh, wait a second. Like, he improved on everything that I said he needed to improve on. Like, someone in that building really, like, helped him out take that next step. And then he said the next year he even got better. And then the next year, and he, like, I love the fact that you see that he's 22 years old, Jeff. Like, again, this isn't an older player, but like, he's 22, and Brad brought the point up where it was like, yeah, people think that, like, yeah, he has a high floor, but his ceiling is still higher to go. Like, he could still get better and better. So I think that's something that Brad, within all of this, like, seeing the fact that he's improving, I think, to get the sense of, hey, sometimes when you draft guys, Jeff, they have high ceilings, but you don't know if they're going to put the work in to actually improve. You don't know. Like, they could plateau. But if you see a guy year after year after year after year constantly getting better, that at least means, like, he's going to put the work in, and he's going to go out there and try and get better every year. I think that's another positive for a guy like Blake Miller. As you know, he's just going to keep growing, and especially you put him around like Hank Fraley. You're going to have him next to imitate Ratledge next to each other, and he's going to be working. And you know who's going to be the biggest help for him, honestly? Who's played right tackle for the last 5 years for the Lions? Penei Sewell. So he's going to have a lot of tips, a lot of things to be able to help Blake Miller out working that right tackle spot.
Well, did you see how he played how he got to play right tackle? That story Brad told?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So it was essentially, wasn't it one of his player, like one of the guys, they brought a guy in, he was playing, what was it? It was like a guy came in and like could only play left tackle. He's like, I'll just move. Like, I'm good. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he like hopped in the line. It was like there was less people in the right tackle line, and he's like, I just want to play. I'm like, well, dude, like, crazy. I can see the guy just wants to play football. You know what I'm saying? He was a left tackle, I guess, in high school, and then he's a right tackle at Clemson. So could he play left tackle? Yeah. Could he play right tackle? Yeah. He's going to play right tackle because you want Penei protecting Jared's blindside. But, like, yeah, dude, I think there's – and maybe that's – honestly, like, I'll throw the hand up. Like, I think I dove into Blake Miller very early on, and I was just like, you know what? I like him. I don't love him. And I just didn't really do much more other than that. I just kept it moving. Looked at all the other tackle guys, looked at all the other defensive players. Like I kind of let Blake Miller slip between the cracks. Like I didn't dive too much into him, but now that I'm kind of learning a little more about him, I can see why there's some things to like. I know the guys at Lions Collective really liked him. I know we talked about him here. You liked him. I liked him, but liked him in a trade back scenario. But I don't even care about that, guys. I really don't, because we got to get that trade back crap out of our heads, because like people just think you can trade like it's a PFF mock draft simulator. It's not how it works. Okay. Brad Holmes was at 17 and he talked about, he got one call. Okay. He got like one call to trade back. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's not, people think like all these teams are calling you to trade up. No, it wasn't that. So you have to just take your guy at 17. It's the same scenario I laid out the last week. Like, you're going to be at 17 and think, man, I don't want to trade back. And there's probably one guy calling me to trade back. I'm just going to take the guy I freaking like. I mean, and who cares, honestly? Like, if you get your guy, you get your guy. He's probably, what was he? Drafted 7 or 5 spots higher than where he was projected. Like, dude, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares?
I mean, dude, Carnell Tate wasn't even supposed to go in the top 6, and he goes 4. Like, because
Tennessee's like, I'm taking this freaking guy.
Yeah, like if you like a guy, you take him, and if you're like, hey, this is a starter, you take him. Like, I don't think. And listen, I think it's a good pick. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest pick of all time. Oh my gosh, like they got Ruben Bain. I think there's a disconnect with people being like, oh, we think this is the greatest pick ever. It's a good pick.
Yeah,
you have a starting right tackle. It's not something for like Lions fans that are in my comments or people who are out there to crash out about and be like, this is the worst pick ever. It's a good pick. You have a starting right tackle who has Pro Bowl potential and has potential to be your Taylor Decker for the next 7 years on a rookie deal. So like the crash outs to me, unnecessary. Now, okay, are you not happy with it? Fine, cool. Like that's okay. Like we would rather have Monroe. I can deal with that. The crash out with people in our comments and people like, like that's where I think the disconnect is a little bit. So I don't know.
What's it called? Like I forgot the term for it, but it's like people have gotten used to crashing out over, and some fans are never going to be happy, and by the way, I'm not speaking like those people. I've crashed out over draft picks. You're looking at the guy who crashed out over Isaac Tesla because they traded up 30 picks and drafted a receiver I'd never heard of. So like that, I understand crashing out over draft picks. It happens. It's part of being a fan. I get it. But I'm with you. I don't think this is the pick to freak out about. I don't understand why people are freaking out about this pick. I don't. Like, I think this is the pick that had to happen. It's like you have to take a tackle, and they just liked Miller over Monroe. So that's their evaluation. We'll see. And Motor City says Vega was right there. Like, listen, you're looking at the biggest Vega guy out there. I had Vega in my latest mock draft, and we're pro Vega show. We love Vega. There was no way the Ravens were moving out of that pick, dude. They were taking that guy every single time. Like I just laid out, you guys, like the picks in front of the Lions, nobody was moving back. Nobody was moving back. The Rams weren't moving back. The Ravens weren't moving back. The Bucs had Ruben Bain. They weren't moving back. And then the Jets wanted to take Sadiq. And at that point, Ruben Bain was already off the board. So you knew Blake Miller or Monroe were going to be there. So there was no trade up opportunity. Like you weren't going to trade up with Dallas. They moved up one spot. Miami wanted to move back one spot to get Caleb. You weren't going to trade up with them. Like, where were you going to trade up?
That's right. I think Brad, when Brad said, "Hey, I tried to trade up," and did I send you the timestamp for
actually,
that?
Yes.
Can we play that? Because I think Brad legit. Maybe I sent you the timestamp of. Oh no, it was the trading up one. I think he legit tried to, and I don't think he was trying to trade up for Blake Miller. I think he was trying to trade up for a Caden Proctor or even like a Ruben Bain. Like I think he was trying to make a move for one of those guys that were falling. And I genuinely believe, like, and like Steve Wild's put in the chat, like he tried. I think there's been times in the past where we're like, Brad, like you keep saying you tried. When are you going to succeed? I genuinely feel like there was he was trying, and teams just did not want to move. And I can be okay with that. Now, if Brad's trying and like the Max Crosby thing, where hey, give us one more second round pick or give us this, and he's like, no, I'm good. Like that's I can't deal with. If he was trying. Then then they just were like, we are not moving back to 17. Then what do? Like, you can't do anything at that point.
I mean, dude, like, and I'll back him up too. Before I play this clip, like, what assets, guys? I mean, like, you have 50 and you don't have a pick till 118. Like, what pick were you trading to move up? Future picks? Like, no. Don't trade those future picks. You're already. I don't think you have a 3rd round pick next year. Like, you want to keep those. Guys, I've tried to prepare the chat as best as I could for this moment. I did. I tried to prepare everybody as best as I could, and it seems like it didn't work for some people. I talked about it. They weren't. I was like, they're not trading up. They don't have enough assets to do it. Maybe Brad will call and see, but dude, they can't do it. They're not doing it to trade up 5-6 spots to like the top 12. No, they weren't. They didn't have the assets to do it. Trading back was the only thing I thought was maybe realistic, but nobody was calling. So here's the clip of Brad talking about the trade you were referencing. Let's take a listen.
But when those tackles started coming off the board, you knew you wanted Blake. Was there any part of you that kind of considered trading up or was itching to trade up to go get him?
We did. Yeah, we did. Look, we talked to teams, up, way up, and we kind of talk about and try to see if we can be at peace with what the capital is that you'd have to expend. But yeah, we definitely explored strongly about trading up and then just kind of seeing how it started to fall. Probably about when we got to right after LA took the quarterback, I felt pretty good that we might be able to just get Blake, because the other thing is that there's just a little scare of, okay, I felt like from the outside looking in, we had this big tackle target on our back. So if a team behind us was in the tackle market, then they might want to jump us as well. So we definitely explored that, but right about 14, I felt pretty good that we would be able to keep our assets and still land Blake.
Brad, when you say that he plays with urgency, how do you see urgency in an offensive lineman? Like, what does it look like to you on tape? Yeah,
just a guy that will come off the ball, especially in the run game. When he gets that initial fit, he's going to continue to strain through the whistle. He's not peeking back and seeing where the ball is. He knows what his assignment is, and he's going to try and finish and bury that guy. And really the same thing as a pass blocker. A lot of times defensive ends, they can rush you, but then depending on what the quarterback does, if the quarterback bails out of the back or flushes and goes up, defensive ends can retrace and then just get a sack because the tackle just let him go. That's not how Blake plays. When he feels that retrace from that rusher, he chases the retrace just to stay in strain and just try to work to finish. And it's for those big guys, it's hard to stay connected to those athletic guys. But again, I think that was one of the more, in my opinion, I thought that was one of the more underrated things about Blake was his athleticism.
There you go. Yeah, see, by the way, imagine if they traded up for.
Wait, what did you say? You cut out there.
Imagine if they traded up.
You cut it out. Your mic keeps going in and out, and as soon as you say the name, it just goes away. I have no clue what you're saying.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good now. That was dude, every time you said the name, it blurred out. It was no one.
Imagine if they traded up for Blake Miller.
I think people would have been gone crazy. I do think, though, by the way, I don't think that they were I think maybe Blake Miller was there, but I think if they traded up, I think there was other players that they wanted. Obviously, he wasn't going to be no, we wouldn't have taken Blake. Obviously, he's going to act like he would have taken Blake because that's who they got. I do believe that there were other players if you trade up. Because did you hear what he said? He said the way the board was falling, we were trying to trade up. So I don't know if he meant he felt like Blake was going to be gone, but I think he meant some of the guys that were falling that he didn't want him. He wanted to try and get. Again, Ruben Bain, whether Caleb Downs that went at 11. I think that they were trying to go out and make a little bit of a splash.
I was thinking of the thing that made me happy last night is Kenyon Sadiq went the pick before. So I wasn't, the crash out potential was eliminated. I would have crashed out maybe for Kenyon Sadiq just because the tight end stuff would have made me crash out. But a tackle, I don't understand why people are getting upset about that. I really don't. I don't understand it, man. And you know what? I should know better because people are going to be upset probably no matter what. I mean, even if they took Freeling, there probably would have been somebody that'd be crashing out. But it's the expectation thing. It happens every year with the draft, and I fall victim to it too, where we cover the draft for months, and you see so many mock drafts have a player in it. And when it comes down to it and you have the opportunity to take them, they don't take the player that was mocked to them. And that's the Monroe Freeling effect. Like, I love Monroe Freeling. If you'd rather have him and you're like, hey, I'd rather have him, but it's fine. You get another tackle. The tackle that was right behind Monroe Freeling ranked. It wasn't like some significant drop off. That's fine. You know what I mean? But if you're just like, man, Blake Miller sucks. It's a terrible pick. Brad doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, all right, dude, I don't get it. I really don't. This is a pick that's going to make your O-line. It's going to get your O-line back to being competent. I mean, it's just true. It's just the truth. I mean, would I rather have Vega? Yeah, but Vega was never going to be there. So, you know, now what's on my mind right now is let's go get an edge. That's like the big thing I'm thinking of. Let's go get a freaking edge. So that way the Lions can lock up that position. But here's Dan Campbell. I didn't play this clip either. Dan Campbell spoke to Dan Miller about the pick as well. Let's hear what Dan Campbell had to say about it.
54 starts at Clemson. He's played some high leverage games. How important is it to be able to look at that much tape on a guy?
It's important, and it resonated with us. And you know, we had a lot of love for the guy. And then you know, there was a lot of kind of top tier tackles in here. And when you start watching, man, just the closer we get to the draft, I mean, his consistency and what he was able to do, man, the steadiness that he provided, and it was just, man, good production week in, week out for not just 1 year, multiple years. So we like this guy, and we think he's got upside. He's got a high floor, and we see a ceiling too that he can get to.
54 starts at Clemson. He's played some high leverage games. How important is it?
You got to.
Your mic's doing that thing again.
Yeah, it's because I'm playing a video. Sorry. Whenever I play a video and I talk after, it does that for some reason. I don't know why. You know how much tape they have on Blake Miller compared to like Monroe Freeling, though?
Oh, it's night and day different. I think that's the thing that gives them confidence is they've seen him kind of grow and that they've seen how consistent he is. And I think that gives them a lot of confidence. Austin in the chat just said, Blake said, I'm an Iron Man Miller. Like, I think that's one thing too that they really love about him is that he does play like no matter what. And Brad mentioned yesterday, or it was Dan, one of the two, that they spoke with him and they talked about like his process of preparing for games and process of preparing to play football. And is a big reason why he obviously is able to kind of play in as many games as he is, 54 consecutive starts. And I think that's like a testament to where, hey, if you are looking for a guy like I think you brought up a good point last night, Taylor Decker, like a guy who's constantly injured, who you're battling with, and you're like, do you have your left tackle? Do you have that all other tackle outside of Panay? Because he's going through injuries. And yeah, it was probably because he was old, but I think a younger player, 22 years old, that knows how to take care of his body, prepares correctly, and is going to be starting for you. And you can make sure that, hey, however many, if he has a broken hand, he's still going to find a way to play football. And he's not going to just like, I need to take a couple weeks. He's going to play. And I think having an Iron Man like that, in the consistency. And listen, too, the one thing I actually really love now that you have Blake Miller, the offensive line, look how deep it is. It's deep. Like, you have dudes even backing up the guys that you have right now. Like, at left guard, you have multiple players. Like, Miles Frazier is going to be fighting for that left guard spot with Christian Mahogany. And we're not even talking about, like, the draft's not even over yet. You could still go get Bo Stevens. And you have Larry Borum. And you have, who's the dude with the smoothie dude? You know what I'm talking about?
Ben Barch.
You have Ben Bart. Like, dude, you have some offensive alignment on this team right now compared to what you've had in the past. So I'm excited that they kind of went out and did. They have Drew Scruggs still, who was a starter for a little bit in the league the last 2 years. Like, you have a lot of different options, and if guys go down, you have depth. And I think the fact that you just got a tackle that is going to be your starter, I think it's an incredible piece to add. And I think one of the best things about him, again, though, is his ability to be available. That's one of the things we say all the time. Availability is the best ability in football, especially for this Lions team. I think that's perfect, man. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, look at the old line last year to this year. I mean, you replace Graham with Cade Mays, and Taylor Decker, you're basically going to replace him with Blake Miller and Larry Borum. Like, Larry Borum, okay. Could he start in a pinch? Maybe start a couple games? Sure. I don't think Larry Borum's a world beater. But I think Blake Miller, with his experience, he's going to contribute earlier. And I'll say, too, like, for a team that's trying to win the Super Bowl, that's what people expect, at least, to be a contender. You get a player that can step in right away, and there's not going to be this, massive learning curve. Like, I just think he's they don't think he's hit his ceiling. They think he can still get better, but high floor player, I don't think that's necessarily always a bad thing. I think as a GM, you got to hit on first round picks. And if Blake Miller is going to play a decade for you or play in a ton of games for you as a, through his rookie contract, that's a hit in my opinion. That's a hit. It's not always going to be guys that are Pro Bowl level, all pro players. You're not always going to get those guys. I know it's, like you'd like it to be Jack Campbell, the Jack Campbells of the world who are all pros, or Jameer Gibbs over that are all pros, or, the Penei Sewells or Aiden Hutchinsons, but you're sometimes going to get a guy that starts for a while and he just shores up the right side of your O-line, and you're cool with that. Like that's still a good pick. You know what I mean?
Dude, what's crazy is I think a lot of people who are mad, I would be interested to see some I don't know if they're Twitter trolls or some Lions fans. I'd be interested to see some Lions fans when they were talking off, especially people in the chat, maybe were they fans of Max Iafrate out of Arizona State, a guy who needed development? Were they fans of Caleb Lomu? Were they fans of obviously Monroe Freeling needs some more development? Were they fans of some of these guys who aren't even close to as ready to go as a Blake Miller? I'm interested. I'm very interested to see if people were pre-draft fans of those. If we would have ended up going Max Iafrate, they'd be like, oh, I could deal with that. Blake Miller is a better football player. Does Max have a higher ceiling? Yeah. What do we say all the time, Jeff? You got to hit those ceilings though. And it's not guaranteed to hit those ceilings. More often than not, these players don't hit those ceilings. They don't. Especially if you're talking about a bad draft. I'm not saying this is the worst draft ever, but this is not a good draft, this 2026 draft. I think it's very well known that this is one of the more, lower level drafts that we've seen. So if you were oh, I wanted Monroe Freeling against the highest ceiling, yeah, I mocked him to the Lions. But what did I also say the last couple of weeks, Jeff, about Blake Miller? And I've said it ad nauseum. It's a safe pick. And I've said it a billion times. He has the highest floor out of every offensive tackle in this draft class because of his ability to play, to be healthy, and all the starts that he has. He has all the experience that some of these other guys in this class do not have. They might have all the intangibles. They don't have the experience yet. And you just got the guy with the most experience. And that's right. I think it was the safest offensive tackle pick outside of maybe Spencer Fano and Francis Mauigoa. And even Francis Mauigoa is being talked about as a guard right now. And I wouldn't be shocked if year one he's playing guard. So that's that conversation you got to be had. And same with Caden Proctor. I know I had Caden in my final mock going to the Lions. Caden could be playing guard next year. And and every time I said Caden, what did you do? You pushed back because you're hey, he's not motivated. He doesn't stay in shape. If he's not in the building, he's not staying in shape. So would have I cared if they didn't draft him? No, I wouldn't have. But just the Blake Miller, if you really break down all the tackle prospects, take out Spencer Fano. I think Spencer Fano might be the safest and he's going to be a dog in the NFL. Blake Miller might be the next safest pick out of that tackle class. And if people are Booner, you're just saying that because the Lions drafted him. Jeff, have I not been saying this the last month about Blake Miller? I went on a radio show yesterday, shout out Anthony Bellino, and literally he asked, what's a safe pick? What's a crazy pick in the first round? I said, don't be shocked if they trade back and go Blake Miller, the safest tackle in this draft class.
Yeah, he is. He's the safest.
And his ceiling,
players.
Cartier said, who says he has a low ceiling? I don't even know if he has a low ceiling. I think he still has a good ceiling. I think it's just about hey, can he get there? And the fact that he's improved every year at Clemson, I think shows that, hey, looking at why, let's see him in year 3 in Detroit. They might turn him into something special. They really might.
Yeah, I mean, this comment here, raise the sales. Why didn't they trade back? He said they got one call, and it was. And
he said it wasn't even a serious call. It was.
Yeah.
Originally, he said he got no calls. That's how unserious the call was at the guy. He's we had no calls.
They had no calls to trade back. So it's and again, we talked about this too. We covered this, and maybe we need to reiterate it. We said in the back half of this first round, there's going to be players that were taken that were projected second round guys, or guys were going to be taken higher than projected because this how the draft is. We kind of knew this. We talked about Malachi Lawrence going in the draft. Rutledge went in the first round. There's going to be guys that go in the first round that you didn't expect because guys, they look at this draft as kind of top heavy. And then there's a lot of guys in this kind of similar mix, like back half of the first round, second round bucket, that you're going to see guys get quote overdrafted, as people would say. But in reality, it's just how the draft is. Like, so, if they stayed put and took their guy, I think Blake Miller has a ceiling. He definitely has a higher ceiling than what people are talking about. He's a high floor player, but he has a ceiling. He's a young player. He's 22 years old. I mean, you can't say a guy who's 22 years old doesn't have a ceiling. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
I really love your analogy, and we need to go find the clip. But I love the Eric DeCosta thing. I love the Eric DeCosta thing. I think that's such an incredible
Ozzie Newsome, Raven, before Eric DeCosta, old GM for the Ravens. That's what he said. Their home run thing.
How do you spell DeCosta?
It's who said that? Are you talking about the home run quote?
Well, I just want to find Eric DeCosta's clip.
What clip?
Wasn't it Eric DeCosta that said that?
No, it was Ozzie Newsome. He was the Ravens GM before Eric DeCosta. He drafted a lot of good players.
But I thought Eric DeCosta was one that said that he said it, right? It was like the clip of him. Who's the clip? Who says it in the clip?
That I don't know. It might have been Eric DeCosta. I just know Ozzie Newsome said it. I don't know where the clip is. I saw it somewhere. Maybe it was like it was some analyst on TV that might have said it, actually, to be honest. But for those who don't know, basically Ozzie Newsome he was talking about home run. He always used baseball analogies. And he said every GM's looking for a home run, but a double's not a bad thing. Like, doubles are okay. You're going to hit doubles. And that's, I think, fans want home runs every single time, which I understand. But to get a double and you just get a starter for a while, that's still a win. You know what I mean? And I hate even saying that because it's like sounds like disrespectful to Blake Miller. Like he has no chance of being a home run, but that's like the best analogy I can come up with for Blake Miller is like, he might not have been the home run pick, but dude, he's a good pick. He's a really good pick. So yeah, people gotta strap in and stop crashing out over a tackle. I can't believe people would crash out over a tackle. I can't. You'd think they drafted a freaking wide receiver or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like this chat, like TCKG1. He said, Booner, our defense has been last since Brad and Dan have been here. Come to your sense, Brad can't draft defense. First off, they haven't been last. If you're going to put stuff in the chat, at least just come correctly. They've been like last year, they were 22nd. The year before, I think they were actually top 10 with AG, his last year in Detroit. They were like 15th before. Like they've been mid. And if you watch our show, I've said a million times, this is a mid defense. This defense has to turn around if you want to win a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
But you can't leave the draft after last night and be like, oh, it's the defense. Everyone on this earth that is a Lions fan, if you asked going into last night, what are your biggest needs and wants in this draft class when you talk about position, number one was always offensive tackle. It was always, especially in this draft class, it was always offensive tackle. So when they take a starting offensive tackle, then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to switch and be like, oh, it should have been defense. You know what this shows me? You would have been mad no matter what. If they drafted an edge rusher last night, you would have been mad because they didn't go offensive tackle. And that's the issue, I think, with some Lions fans and some people that are crashing out. You would have been mad if Brad Holmes didn't hit a home run and like, oh, I'm going to trade up and use every asset to go up to the top 10 and get a guy. You would have been mad. And that's where it's like, dude, I can listen and be fine with people who push back. I can do that. I push back sometimes. You can't just be unrealistic. You really can't. And I texted one of the groups we're in, shout out the boys, but I just said, like, you can't waste crash outs if you're a fan on drafting a starting tackle. Like, you have to, it dilutes crash outs. You have to use crash outs in moments where they're due. When they lose to the Commanders in the playoffs, crash out. When they don't make the playoffs, crash out.
Make the
crash out. You can't sit here and waste crash outs when it. Yeah, like you can't have it dilutes crash outs, man. You can't have crash outs when they have a good pick. Even if it's one that you don't like and you're like, I didn't like that player, I would have liked Monroe Freeling. Dude, if you were like, if in your crash outs and if you're a fan and in our tweets, we're getting comments like, oh, Monroe Freeling was on the board. Dude, if you're crashing out because you want Monroe Freeling over Blake Miller, you're like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you just don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. You just really don't. And like, I can't help you at that point because that's just not a crash out worthy situation. You literally have a potential 5 to 7 year starter now in your room, and it's at a position of legit need. Like, that's the crazy part. It's the number one position of need. The number one position of, like, if you drafted a starter at a different position that you might not have needed, I could see a little bit more pushback. It's legit a position that it was the number one position of need going into the offseason when you lost Taylor Decker.
Yeah, it was. I no, well said. I you know what I'll say too? Like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about this like we were last year with the Tyleek pick. I mean, because like Tyleek, when he was coming out, you knew like he can defend the run, but he's got a lot of room to grow rushing the passer. Like, there was a lot of things you looked at with Tyleek where it's like he's got to improve on this, you know. But if he does, he can get to that ceiling. Like, I don't want to call him, he's not like a project, but you knew there was things he had to improve on a lot. But like, Brad kind of went into this year and was in love with Blake Miller. He's like the opposite. He's well versed in a lot of different ways. You know, he's a pretty complete tackle. He can do a lot of things. He can pass protect. He can run block. He's got all the intangibles, the tangibles. It seems like this pick was like, this is the pick people, you know, they might not expect it and they're upset, but it's the pick that probably just had to happen. It's like you're getting a player that you know has a high floor as opposed to a player with a high ceiling, but you risk, you know, that player potentially never reaching that ceiling. You just know, what you're going to get out of Blake Miller day one. Like, you just do. So, you know, like Taron Arnold, when Taron Arnold was coming out, he was a former safety who turned corner, and he showed some things at corner as like last year at Bama, and he was drafted because people are like, he's going to be a really good corner. Blake Miller's been a right tackle for what? He started he broke the record at Clemson for starts. Like, you know what he is. Like, it wasn't like Blake's like a guy who's, you know, only played offensive line for a little bit and he's got this potential. Like, no, it's the most like high floor, solid, you know what you're getting pick, and people are still upset. It's like, I would have been upset with Max Ianichor. I would have been upset with Caden Proctor. I would have been upset if it was Kenyon Sadiq. But if you like I'll say that if you prefer Monroe Freeling, fine. But I think for those people, you'd have to at least acknowledge, like, yeah, I might have preferred Monroe Freeling, but I get the pick. Like, I understand it. They took a freaking tackle, guys. Like, they took the position of need everyone was talking about. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't understand it. Now, Brad talked about the O-line too, and I want to share this this clip. He talked about the O-line and kind of what it looks like right now. So let's take a listen.
About the overall of the offensive line now, kind of towards the end of this offseason.
Yeah, well, look, what fires up is we definitely got younger. And I think that's going to be big going forward, just for our future and just the importance of where, you know, the importance of that position as a whole and in that unit. Look, when you start getting in that cycle of trying to find, you know, a younger, talented offensive tackle, or, you know, you could even throw guard, the center, like, those guys are hard to find. So really, I would say the youth. And look, now these guys can be grown and molded to what we believe. They already have the intangible qualities, but we're really excited about the youth injection. It kind of started last year, and then we just kind of continued it.
Hey, I want to bring this up too, real quick. By the way, appreciate, I did not bring this up. I'm sorry. Blitzing Lion, appreciate the $2. What's up, boys? Let's get the Clemson edge. TJ Parker, we'll bring him up. We'll talk about that as well. And Blitzing Lion talking about the defense. He said it's also due to the DC, which I do agree. But appreciate that, Blitzing Lion. Appreciate you. Motor City, Mia, this comment, I got or Motor City MIA maybe is the name. I want to address this comment. So the comment says, Miller better be all pro the way y'all talking about him. Okay, let's put this in perspective for you. All right, so maybe this will make you feel a little better. Okay, so Taylor Decker was the 16th overall pick for the Detroit Lions. Well, Bob Quinn. Okay, he was the 16th overall pick. Was Taylor Decker ever an All-Pro? No, he wasn't. But you know what he was? He was a starter for a decade, and you never had to worry about left tackle. So
He
until
was a one-time Pro Bowler, by the way, just so you know.
one-time Pro Bowler, but never was an All-Pro.
In 2024. So he played how many years until he was a Pro Bowler?
Would you say that pick was but that pick worked? It was a good pick. Like that's the argument. Like I don't understand why it's like, oh, he's got to be an All-Pro. Guys, you're picking at pick 17 in a top-heavy draft. I mean, you were not like, would you like to take a guy with a high ceiling? Yeah, it's all, I get it, but that player still has to get to that ceiling. You're taking a guy that at the very worst will be a starter for a while for you, which in my opinion, like that's a hit. That's a hit, dude. Like in the first round, you're not always not every player in the first round has to be a All-Pro player. Like Brad Holmes has found All-Pro players in the second round. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you want a guy that can contribute not only right away, but be very, very, very solid for you for a while. I think that's a hit. So no, I don't think he has to be an All-Pro to validate the pick. I think that's unfair and that's ridiculous. I think he needs to be someone that you don't have to worry about. If we're constantly bringing up Blake Miller and being like, oh my gosh, this guy's just falling apart for the next couple of years, then that's different. But he doesn't have to be some dominant, like the guy all of a sudden has to be like Penei Sewell for people to be happy at right tackle. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah. I fully agree with you. I
think the Taylor Decker comp's perfect. He was a 16th overall pick and he was very good for a decade, one-time Pro Bowler. Is that not like a good career arc? Like
that's a great. I mean, I think people when Taylor Decker was at his best, people loved Taylor Decker. Like he was a really good offensive tackle. He was your left tackle too. Like that's even more pressure. So if you're getting a guy that's Taylor Decker and for the next decade, he's you know a top tier, maybe not top tier, but you know he's an above average offensive tackle for you in the NFL. Then yeah, that's good. And then also he has a ceiling of potentially being a Pro Bowler. I think you're happy with it, man.
Yeah.
I think you're going to look back in like 5 years and look back at this pick and go, that was one of the better picks that Brad Holmes made because no one was really thinking Blake Miller at 17. And like, that was like, again, I did a couple trade backs, but I think if you're like, you look back and you're like, well, Brad actually did get a really good player just sitting put at 17. And maybe, yeah, it was a little reach when it comes to where he was actually projected. But like, again, especially in this draft, this draft was crazy, dude. Like, just look at some of the players that ended up going where they did. Like just because people mocked certain players somewhere doesn't mean that was where they belong. And I think people kind of forget that a little bit. Like, oh, Blake's been projected to go 22 to 28 this whole draft. Oh, we got him at 17. It's such a reach. No, like none of us know what their board, like NFL teams' boards look like. No one. Francis Mauigoa was a top 5 player, and then in the draft he goes 10th. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Ruben Bain was
a top 10 lock, and he goes 15. Malachi Lawrence, until 24 hours before the draft, he was a round 2 guy, and then all of a sudden, the Cowboys take him at 23. So, and you could do this like Dylan Thieneman. He was a projected top 20 pick. He goes 25 to the Bears. Like, I can keep doing this, and you can keep pulling out players like that, man. Where it's like we think because we look at mock drafts, we know where these players are projected to go. Maybe Blake Miller in every single draft room, all 32 teams, had Blake Miller as a top 20 prospect. And we're the only ones that didn't. And mock drafters were the only ones that didn't. So you just can't live off of, oh, he was projected to go in the 20s. I'm so mad. It's not how it works, man. It's not how it works.
I like this comment, 4 to hits. Listen, I criticize Brad Holmes a lot, but this is not one. We needed a tackle. We got it, and damn good one at it. Safe people complain. So what do you want to take a chance? At first round? I'm with you for the hits. I criticize Brad Holmes often. I do. I give him credit where it's due as well. And that's where I'm consistent. Like, I'm giving him credit for this. I'm not going to sit here and just criticize him because I want to criticize him. Do I want an edge? Yeah, but I fully expected a tackle as well. It was tackle edge. That's what most people expected. And people were worried that he was going to go haywire and draft some other position. But no, he took a tackle. So it's like, I don't get it. I really don't. And I think day 2 is going to be really interesting. And we're going to be live tonight to cover day 2. We'll probably be live around 6:30 to talk about it. And the Lions have 1 pick. They have pick 50. we'll see if they trade up maybe in the third round or they trade back in the second round, pick up more third-round picks. I think today is going to be very interesting. And now today we're going into it fully expecting a pass rusher or a linebacker or something,
Yeah. I'm so
like
interested to see how the board falls today. Because there were, if you do look at round one, the way round one went, there are a lot of guys that were projected to go in round one, Jeff, that are just sitting there on the board. Like, just to name some, like Jermod McCoy, obviously the injury, but he was a projected he top 10 talent in this draft. And it's like the Will Johnson thing. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren was a projected first round. Avion Terrell potentially first round. Denzel Boston. He was I thought a lock. He was like minus 500 to go in the first round. Caden McDonald was like minus 300 to go in the first round. Zion Young, first round guy. Cassius Howell, Colton Hood, like CJ Allen was in a lot of mocks to go in the first. So like there's a lot of guys on the board. You're sitting at 50. You have the sixth, or I think it's the 18th overall pick in the second round. You're going to have options at that 18th pick tonight if you want to stay. Brad did. Oh, that's what it was. Brad was asked. Oh, I told you, I was like, there was something I wanted to clip for the show of Brad talking about, and it was him talking about preparing for the draft tonight. And he said, hey, we're going to go restack the players that are now available for the second round. And he said, we're going to restack them. We're going to go in and see at 50 if we feel like there's going to be a guy available for us. I don't think that, like, I know we talked about them trading up, Jeff. I don't know if they trade up in this round. Maybe in the third round they will. But I think they either stay at 50 or they trade back, add a couple third rounds, maybe an extra third round pick. Similar to what realistically, remember last year what the Jags did with the Lions, where the Lions gave up multiple thirds for them, to move up to get in the early third round to get Isaac Tesla. I think it'll be a similar thing potentially for Brad, where Brad can be in that Jag spot to where, hey, we'll trade back out of 50 if we feel like there's some players available, which there are a lot. And I think tonight, one of the biggest position groups, I said this yesterday, Jeff, that I think the number one position group for tonight's draft, I think it's linebacker. I think there's a lot of really, really good linebackers. I know people want edge. I know there's edge thing, but you have about 4 or 5, like, in my opinion, caliber starting linebackers in the NFL that are on the board tonight with Anthony Hill, Jacob Rodriguez, CJ Allen, Kyle Lewis. I think there's a handful. Am I missing any linebackers? I can pull up the linebacker list here. Anthony Hill is number one remaining. Jake Golday from Cincinnati, Josiah Trotter,
CJ Allen, which remember that's a projected first round.
That's a projected first. CJ Allen. I think there's a lot of really good linebackers in day 2. If you want to replace, I told Klotz, Jeff, I think replacing Alex Anzalone, in my opinion, is more important than getting an edge 2 right now. I just think it's a really big need.
Yeah, I'm about tied with both positions. Like I would be cool with either one. Listen, Anthony Hill's still on the board. I would be ecstatic if they got him, obviously, but who knows? Will he make it 18 picks? I don't know. There's some teams that could use a linebacker. I'll say this before we move on. We'll talk about who do you think won the first round? What teams were you impressed with?
That's a great question. Let me look at this real quick. I want to see. I think
the teams that you were not impressed with, but
there was one team yesterday that me and Klotz were just it felt like had a really good draft. Let me go see real quick. Who had 2 first round picks? What were those teams?
You know what I think had a really good draft is Kansas City. I think Kansas City. I know they traded up a couple from Mansour Delane, and people might be like, "What?" They walked out of that draft with Mansour Delane and Peter Woods.
Yeah. Oh, you know who had the number 1 draft last night? Honestly, it was the Jets. David Bailey, Omar Cooper, which I thought it was incredible because I had them mocked to get Omar Cooper at 16. At 16, they get Kenyon Sadiq, one of the best playmaking offensive weapons that were in this draft, maybe outside of Jeremiah Love and Carnell Tate, Kenyon Sadiq, and they got Omar Cooper. So you added potential future dog in David Bailey, who's going to be a 10+ sack guy in the NFL, in my opinion. Kenyon Sadiq, a tight end that's really just a weapon. You can move around anywhere if you want. And Omar Cooper Jr. to pair with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. I think Geno Smith has a really good offense there now and some really good weapons to deal with. And then I think obviously defensively, I think they really did a good job at getting I think they picked right at 2, David Bailey. Everyone was pushing about Arvell Reese. I think David Bailey's the best edge rusher in this draft class. I really like the Jets a lot.
Yeah, the Jets had they were cooking. They were They were cooking. They got an offense now that is actually capable. I mean, we'll see. They have Geno Smith, who, whatever. We'll see what happens with Geno Smith. But Kenyon Sadiq, Omar, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, they got some pieces. And then on defense, like you said, they added David Bailey. Like I mentioned, I like what the Chiefs did, just because I think Peter Woods was a projected top 10 guy this year, and he didn't live up to that. And they got him at 29. So they got Peter Woods and Mansour Delane. I got to give, just because I love the player, Tampa Bay. They didn't have to trade, and they got Reuben Bain. It's like, dude, that's ridiculous. They landed Reuben Bain at 15. They didn't have to trade.
They probably were not expecting that at all as well. They probably had no clue that was going to happen. And I do think, too, by the way, the Giants, I don't hate their draft, but I would have liked them to go, instead of Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and then like Caleb Downs. They could have gotten Sonny and Caleb Downs. I think that would have been a really good New York Giants. That defense would have been incredible in New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll say another pick that I absolutely loved was Akeem Mesidor to the Chargers. I like that pick a lot. I thought they got a really good player at 22. He's gonna be really good for them. And then I'll say I'll mention this too, because it's kind of a sneaky one. The Titans, like the Titans, they drafted Carnell Tate at 4, which they just took the guy they were in love with, but then they traded back up and got Keldrick Falk at 31. So they got Keldrick Falk at 31 and Carnell Tate at 4. They're not going to be talked about as a team that won the draft, but that's to trade back in and get a guy that was a projected top 20 pick in Keldrick Falk at 31 and Carnell Tate. You're building a culture with those two picks. Those are two really good picks for them. And then I'll say a team that I'll say it. You're going to disagree with this, but a team that I did not like was the Dolphins, and it's not even as much of a Caden Proctor thing. It's like the first pick in a regime is supposed to be your Penei Sewell. You gotta set the tone with your first pick in a new regime, going into new head coach, new GM. This is the guy we're building around, the cornerstone. And they took a guy in Caden Proctor who's got he's got a lot of potential, but he's just got so many other things maybe that you're curious about. That to me is a ballsy pick by the Dolphins.
I will say, I think their first two picks, Caden Proctor and Chris Johnson out of San Diego State, I think they took two guys that you need to work with. I think they have the potential, they both have really high ceilings and they both can be really good. But one, and Jeff, you know how I feel a little bit about it, drafting players out of smaller schools like San Diego State, where you're not playing SEC. I still think even if you could be Klotz in the chat said he's a stud. You could be a stud all you want. How do you play at that next level? You haven't played in the SEC. You haven't gotten to that next level yet. I'm interested to see that, and he could very well end up being a really, really good corner. But I think it's just more so hey, you still have to see it from him. He still has to go out there and do it at that next level because he hasn't played that competition yet. And I think it's the same thing with Caden Proctor, where he does have a high ceiling, but you got to get that out of him. And for your first two picks, like you said, in your regime, to be two guys that you have to kind of help along and really kind of work for their ceiling, I do think that's a little oh no.
Yeah, it could go either way. It's a risky first pick of a new regime there. I'll say, you know what I like too? My favorite part of the draft was the Eagles stealing Mekhi Lemon from the Steelers.
Oh, dude, that was one of the more incredible NFL draft stories I think I've ever heard. He was on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers we're drafting you at 22. And then all of a sudden, dude, it said that the Eagles were trying to call him and they couldn't get a hold of him because he was on the phone with the Steelers, and the Steelers were telling him, we're taking you. That's insane. And they trade up above the Steelers and take.
You got to think from his perspective, he's probably so happy. He almost went to the Steelers. Offensive. That's offensive. It's an offensive nightmare, but it's it's a bad place. You don't want to go there if you're a receiver. You just don't. And you get to go to Philly.
Oh man,
he's probably thank God, he gets to go to Philly. So it was a good pick by the Eagles there. They traded up to get him, but he was looked at as potentially the number one wide receiver, and they got him at 20. So It's a good pick for them, man. So yeah, those are some teams, and I'll say too. I think I already talked about it. Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. I did not mention them yet. Caleb Downs at 11, and then Malachi Lawrence at 23. Like, I like Malachi Lawrence, but those two picks together.
I'm just interested with the Malachi Lawrence one, dude. I don't know if I can be like, yeah, it's a great draft until we see what Malachi does.
Because they basically took him over. It was at the time they were selecting. It was because they traded back. They were at 20 and they traded with the Eagles, traded back 3 spots and took Malachi. They basically took Malachi over Akeem Mesidor and Keldrick Falk. Those are the two that were available.
Actually, you're right. If I was them, I would have stayed put at 20 and I would have taken I would have just taken Akeem Mesidor. If you left this draft with Caleb Downs and Akeem Mesidor, that defense, like, come on now, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that one works out. But yeah, we'll get into the second round because there's a ton of good players here. I thought Jamad would fall to the second round. I don't think he'll fall much more than that. So he's the number 1 player on the board. I mean, the Dolphins could have easily taken him over Chris Johnson, but they did not. So the knee injury must be more serious than people are leading on to be, because if it was just the ACL, he would have went in the first round. There's no question.
We can also, too, by the way, PFF, we could do a mock draft for the Lions. They have, I just had it up. They do where they fill in the picks and you draft with who's remaining.
Really?
Yeah.
Should we do just a day 3 or day 2?
Yeah, we could do just a day 2 if we wanted to. I think it would be interesting to see, like, we could do it a couple different times. The people in the chat, like, if you guys want, we could do it a couple different times. I think we can do it one, we just sit put and not do anything and just see who falls. We could trade up, or we could also trade back and add another, like, a third round pick. Like, I think tonight, if the board's falling away, like, you're like, maybe we don't love a guy right now, you could even trade back like 5 picks, 6 picks, and add like another third, like a late round third tonight, and you can end up with 2 picks tonight. Well, which I wouldn't mind. I would not mind that.
The first pick is the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, can we go slow through it so we can just see where PFF thinks some guys are going to fall? I'm interested to see who the 49ers take here. TJ Parker.
Wow. So, yeah, which honestly, that's TJ Parker. Back-to-back Clemson guys, TJ Parker and Avion Terrell.
They just drafted Will Johnson. Why would they go Avion Terrell? I don't know.
Let's see. Jamad McCoy goes to the Buffalo Bills. CJ Allen. Emmanuel Pregnan goes to the Giants. That's a good pick for them. Damn. Manuel McNeil-Warren.
We're getting there with the Lions, man. We're almost there. Who's on the board?
There goes Caden McDonald.
Yep.
Denzel Boston to the Bengals.
The Bengals, what a pick for them. Colton Hood to the Saints. Got their corner.
D'Angelo Pons to the Dolphins. R. Mason Thomas to the Jets.
Oh, if he's on the board at 50, the Lions jump on that.
Yeah, 44, R. Mason Thomas, 45, Jacob Rodriguez.
I wonder, like if you're a Lions fan, would you mind, like, if Brad said we'll trade up and go after a Jacob Rodriguez or something?
Yeah, you might need to move up a couple picks.
Lee Hunter.
Or you stay put and you take the guy.
CJ Allen.
Who's the guy?
Did CJ Allen get picked yet?
Yeah, he did. Damn.
Jake Gold. Oh, Anthony Hill's there still.
Anthony Hill is here. Who else is here?
Edge rusher. Can you go to edge?
Gabe Jacobs is here. Jacobs. Yeah. Let me see. Where's the edge rushers?
Joshua you're not a bit. Son, Derek Moore. You're gonna have opportunity. You're gonna have picks at 50. You're gonna have an opportunity. You can get a linebacker or an edge rusher, I think, at 50 tonight. Romello Height is a good one.
Let me see.
Put in the chat. If the Lions stay at 50, put in the chat. Who do you think the Lions take if they stay at pick number 50?
Jake Galday. He's good too, man.
Oh, Jake Galday? Yeah, no, he's legit. That would be a heck of a pick too. I'm so interested because they haven't met with any, or we don't know if they've met with these guys.
Yeah, the only people I know they've met with on this list is Derek Moore.
Yep. Jayshawn Barham is in play in round 2.
Anthony Hill, Jayshawn Barham.
He's a
I
day
don't
2
know.
guy.
Have they met with Gabe Jockus? Have they met with him?
Here's a couple, by the way. Some people were putting stuff in the chat. Noah said Kyle Lewis at 50. B Money said Anthony Hill Jr. Jay said TJ Parker at 50. I don't think TJ Parker will make it to 50. If you want TJ Parker, I think you have to move up. Which Jeff, I actually love TJ Parker. We talked to him at the combine. TJ Parker was projected first.
Yeah, he went 33 in this.
Yeah, if he somehow starts to fall though in the second round, I would not be mad if Brad said I'll trade up and go get TJ Parker, because then you basically got Blake Miller, TJ Parker, 2 first-round draft picks, and that. B Money said Hill, Anthony Hill, Austin,
Anthony Hill
Davis.
Army, we rise. We
How about
rise.
this? Let's try this now that we're sitting here. Who's offering a trade?
Let's see.
Because I think this could be really interesting. You're sitting at 50.
You can trade back 2 spots, 7 spots, 11 spots, or 15 spots.
Can you open up the thing? I can't see it here. Is it not open? Can you open up that?
Wait. They're not it's not popping up?
Not for us, no. So what are the picks?
We have the options are Green Bay at 52, they're offering. Chicago at 57, the Rams at 61, and the Cardinals at 65.
We go Chicago 57. What's their other picks that they have?
They do have 89.
Could you do 57, 89, and 50? And add 222 in there?
Bang.
Boom.
That's how we
That's where I think Brad needs to go, because I think you can still get an Anthony Hill Jr. at 57 or Kyle Lewis or a Derek Moore. And if you can add another pick tonight somehow, I think that's Brad's thought process. It's like, hey, if we can somehow add another pick and still get 2 guys that we really like that can come in and start or give us some picks. Like right now, dude, Anthony Hill still there.
See 56, bang.
You could get
Scott.
You could get your linebacker here though, Jeff.
Yeah, they might trade back. I don't know. I don't understand this. The Anthony Hill is a wild card to me because on ESPN he's like the 10th ranked player, but on here he's 88th. So it's like I don't understand where he's going to go. I don't get it. I mean, like, how is ESPN right or PFF?
Can you undo picks and go back, and can we trade with the Rams? You see at the top right where it says undo pick?
It's not. It doesn't let me click it.
Because I was gonna say let's try and even trade farther back. What should we do here? Do you want to just trade for or draft a linebacker?
Yeah, I would either go. Man, if I was here, I'd go. I'd be cool with. Honestly, I'd be cool with Gabe Jockus, Keontae Scott, or like a Kyle Lewis, Anthony Hill. I'd be cool with any of those guys. Yeah, I'm cool with any of these dudes. I mean, I'm pretty open to any of these.
Let's just go Gabe Jockus.
Yeah, let's go edge. Let's make people happy with the edge.
And then let's see what's available at let's just see who kind of falls in our lap. Skylar Bell off the board. Keontae Scott goes to the Bears. That's a heck of a pick for them. I don't know. That's essentially almost kind of too safe just because Keontae can play nickel. I guess it's different than Dylan Thieneman.
Stukes goes 63. Like I've seen him.
He's he was almost a first round guy.
Yeah, like I don't think he makes it all the way to 63. There's no way.
Jake Goldberg just went.
Yep. Danny Dennis Sutton. It's a good pick. Derek Moore, 71.
So yeah, he wouldn't have been available at 89 for you. We're getting there. We're getting close. I almost said Claire. Garrett Nussmeier.
We're gonna get. I think it depends. Linebacker here, there.
Maybe Anthony Hill falls. Oh no, there he is. Just went.
Yeah.
To the Colts.
I don't think he does fall this far.
Me either.
PFF has him ranked. I was just talking about that. They have him at like 80th, and then ESPN has him as a top 10 player. Oh, Kyle Lewis is gone.
All right, who do we get at 89 then? See, this is good to be able to kind of get
Good
a little bit of a
exercise.
feel.
Maybe 89 is too far to wait on one of those guys. We know
Yeah.
that.
Maybe that's why I think look, we could redo this again and we could try and trade back a little farther than like 50 to like 65, still get a good edge like a Derek Moore, and then get a linebacker. Yeah, you're really not working with anything. You're not even to go linebacker here. Who's BPA in this spot?
Kamari Ramsey, you got Jake Slaughter, Chandler Rivers.
Let's restart this. Let's restart this exercise. These are good exercises going in for tonight, I think. These are good.
Let's do
Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go.
Should I do you know what I like about PFF is they have like they have PFF big boards and then they have like the actual big board, consensus big boards.
Can we do an ESPN big board or something?
They have a no. We'll just stick with their PFF one. All right. Do that.
You got to pick Lions.
Yep, Lions 3 rounds. All right. So let's see if it I'll speed it up a little bit just so we can see.
CJ Allen right away.
Yeah, CJ Allen goes. Avion Terrell, Dramont
DJ
goes.
Parker's falling right now.
Surprised Emmanuel McNeil Warren's still there too. That's another one we didn't really talk about. He was a first round safety.
If TJ Parker falls like 3 more picks, let's say you pause it, we see what it would take to trade up.
He might make it to
if we get to like 41.
I had a feeling the Chiefs
just
were
went
that.
Chiefs. That's a great
I was just
pick for
thinking,
them.
I'm like, man, this would be a good pick for the Chiefs if they just took him here.
That's a heck of a pick for those boys.
Yeah. Maybe we don't need to trade up right now then.
No, I don't think
he
there's
was the
anyone.
only guy. Yeah, there's the only guy worth really trading up for.
I think if one of those like first round guys start falling down to like 45, then it's like, hey, let's move up a couple to grab one.
Let's see Chris
Bell keeps going. Yeah, Chris Bell might be a steal. Brandon, our corner. Jacob Rodriguez. Oh, we just missed him.
Or Mason Thomas.
I think that's a great pick, but if we want to trade back and get what are the trade offers to go back?
So we have 57, 64, and 66. So it's kind of far.
I think 64. I think we're just going over scenarios. This is like how Brad and his team probably sits there and works. They probably just go through all these different scenarios.
Yeah, they don't have that many picks.
Oh, they don't have anything. What about who's the other one? Who was the other team that offered?
It's 66. Buffalo.
Try that. What do they have?
Oh, they have 100.
Anything either.
Yeah. And then you have Cincinnati at 72.
Oh, let's do this. You want to do it? You want to do it? Let's try this. Different scenario. Ready for this scenario? Let's take our Mason Thomas. Let's let the board start falling. Let's try and trade into the third and see if we have assets if Brad is able to trade into the third. Let's just watch these linebackers. Let's keep an eye on the linebackers. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, because if they walked away, they got R. Mason Thomas. That's a really freaking good pick. I mean, they still have, and they're going to be able to get in the third round. Maybe you can get like the first pick of the third round or something.
When does the third round start?
It's 65.
All right, let's see. If one of these linebackers falls into the third, they're going to go right here. One of them. Oh no. What would it take? Maybe like next year's third? No.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's tough.
It is
50 picks. It is.
Got to let it go a couple more picks.
Yeah, that's true.
Might not, yeah. I don't know if you can trade into the top of the first.
Yeah, that's
we get Anthony Hill in the third. If you could trade up and get Anthony Hill in the third, and you get R. Mason Thomas, I think that's incredible.
I keep seeing Danny Dennis Sutton to the Eagles. Remember that. That just makes too much sense. Just Penn State, too.
You want to pause it? Pause it. All right, 72. Let's see if there's something we can make here. Future third.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Well, take away 118 and do like 181 and 157. Or all right, well 118, I guess 118 and 181.
That would be the trade.
And see if we can get back like 226. Try that.
Let me try it. I think we might need to just do it like this, which is tough.
You're giving up a lot. You should.
We're giving up a lot. I mean,
you should at least give one more thing back, though. I feel like
we're also trading up almost 50 picks. So this,
you're trading up. You're really trading like a fourth, a fifth, and a third. Like last year, you traded in the third just to move up in the third, 2/3.
Like they didn't even take this. You might have to do it like this way to get it done.
This goes back something like 199. Let me try that. Oh, no.
221.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Now we can get a linebacker.
We have Kyle Lewis.
Did Anthony Hill already go?
No, he's on here. See,
I think you go Anthony Lewis or Anthony Hill, dude. I think this would be a perfect first or second and third round. I think this would be like so ideal, to be honest, man. I really do.
Kyle Lewis went 80. Yeah, you just walked away. Your first three picks are Blake Miller, R. Mason Thomas, and Anthony Hill.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. You're like trying to draft starters, right? That to me is like you got 3 starters. You got 3 dudes. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, that's insane. That's okay. So today, yeah, like edge and linebacker are the 2 positions I'm focused in on today. I'm fired up about.
I agree.
I
wouldn't be shocked too, by the way, if they went like Keontae Scott or something. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, it'd be like linebacker, edge, and then sleeper pick would be like a nickel, like Keontae Scott. That'd be like the 3 I'm sold on: edge, linebacker, and then Keontae Scott. And then Sean just said, "Crash out. Those picks are horrible."
That's how most people would take drafts. Anything that Brad does, we're just gonna crash out.
Guy could draft freaking, I mean, you could draft like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's a crash out. Like,
dude, this would be perfect. I think. I do think. I know. We R. Mason Thomas. If he's sitting there at 50, that's a really good pick. Like, oh, that's like a guy that was a potential first round pick, drops you at 50. But I think, to me, I don't know where you're at with this. I would rank like, what do I think Brad's going to do tonight? Number 1, I think Brad's going to move out of 50. I think he's going to move back at a 3rd round pick. I know I said that about 17, but I do think, like, with what he said yesterday about how, hey, we're going to restack the board that's available, and we're going to see if there's someone at 50 that we would like. If not, we're going to look to move back. Like, he legit said that yesterday. I think he really, unless like a really good player falls at 50, I think he's just going to say, all right, let's add assets. Because Brad does value assets a lot. And guess what? Brad averages 5 trades per draft. So we're going into day 2. He did not trade in the first round. I think Brad's fiending to want to get a trade on the board. I think he's like, I need a trade, like shaking, like, give me a trade. And I think if you're realistically, unless like TJ Parker starts to fall and you trade up for him, realistically, my number 1 option tonight is trade back out of 50, get like 60 something, add like an 80th overall, 70, and kind of move forward from there and get just 2 solid players that can help you out.
Yeah, the linebacker class and edge class, there's a lot of guys in rounds 2 and 3 that are going to be really good players. So I think you can kind of move around freely because, if it's not R. Mason Thomas, it's Gabe Jacas or Danny Dennis Sutton.
Yep.
There's other options. Like I'm actually open to a bunch of different options at both those positions. Like I would love Kyle Lewis, Anthony Hill Jr. if we take Jacob Rodriguez, Jake Galde or Golde. I'm cool with any of those players, man. So, I mean, it kind of gives Brad a little bit of flexibility. I don't know what his board looks like. Derek Moore is obviously an option 2 at edge, but there's a lot of options there for Brad, and he didn't meet with Derek Moore, so I guess that is a name to watch.
By the way, there's reports here. Jordan Schultz put out this morning. It said sources: the 49ers, Cardinals, and Bills have all received calls about potential trades at the top of the round 2 tonight, setting up what could be a busy trade night. It makes sense since round 1 with 5 of the final 7 picks being traded. And then he said 49ers are very open to moving back to add more draft capital.
How much draft capital do the 49ers have?
I don't know, but they haven't picked. They didn't pick in the first round. They traded out of the first round.
They have 33, 58, 90, 127, 133, 138. They have a lot of good picks, actually, the 49ers. Yeah, they're trying to rebuild that roster, man. I don't hate that. Yeah, this is ESPN's top available list here. This is who
I wonder who people are trying to trade up for. I'm guessing maybe like TJ Parker or like Emmanuel McNeil Warren or a Denzel Boston. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's the top. That's the best available. So, Tremont McCoy obviously has, but yeah, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. There's Zion Young, who is here. See, like they have Anthony Hill as the 10th best player on here. I don't understand the like discrepancy. That's why I'm like curious to see where he goes today. I don't know like how GMs value him as opposed to like PFF. I don't know the difference there. Same with like CJ Allen's the 17th best player here. Like I'm curious. Jacob Rodriguez 18th. Like Keontae Scott's the 20th. And then TJ Parker's the 23rd.
So I think like the rankings best available. I think it's just based off of obviously just different people. Like PFF was like you saw in there like the Trevor Sycamore one. You know they have their board base. I think PFF based theirs based like kind of based off where people doing mock drafts are drafting them. So like you could have random people doing insane things that kind of tips the scale a little bit. And I think ESPN is like probably a mix of like Mel Kiper and
Just Mel Kiper.
Yeah, it might just be Mel Kiper's best available, to be honest.
Yeah, he's just in control of the best available list.
Yeah, he can go in there and change it whenever he wants. He runs it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the edge. Look at this edge class. I mean,
some dudes, man.
Yeah, it's not bad, man. I mean, you can go down all the way to 10, 11. No, Romello Heights down here at 11, but Danny Dennis Sutton's here. Flannel took Joshua Josephs. He's got like 2 sacks a year at Tennessee. I don't know why he's not I don't know. Jashawn Barham, Kieran Crawford's here. Yeah, there's our Mason Thomas. There's some good players.
Yeah, it's gonna be tonight's gonna be like it's up in the air. It's gonna be interesting. I think Brad's gonna have options to say the least. I really do.
Yeah, this linebacker crew's like 6 deep. I don't know who Deontay Lawson is out of Alabama. I haven't heard of him, which is surprising because he's a Bama linebacker. But yeah, Deontay Lawson. I did not know who that was, but he's on here too. But yeah, who's Jimmy Rolder? I didn't know who.
Dog
linebacker to Michigan.
Dog.
Jimmy Rolder. Dog.
Hey, Jimmy Rolder, dog. Michigan man. Beside Trotter.
Yeah, Mr. Mike says the 49ers have 6 picks. Yeah, they have a ton of picks.
They really want to.
Let's see. Ken says Detroit to LA, 50 for 61 and 93.
Yeah, I'm in for it. You just gotta hope that like Les Snead is fine with that. You know, that's where I think people you get a little confused. Like, hey, it's as easy as just making the trade. Like last night, people were mad Brad didn't go up and get Ruben Bain. Hey, takes 2 to tango. I don't know if Les Snead, a guy who loves to have picks, would be willing to give up 2 of his to move up to 50. He has to love a player if he's going to do it, and it's not. It might not work out that way.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I guess Sean McVay looks so mad at that Ty Simpson pick.
Dude, crazy. He did not look happy. Every video that I've seen come out was like, it was shocking how much he was just like. And supposedly, Les Snead is like friends with Ty Simpson's dad or something. I don't know. I saw a tweet that it was like,
Yeah, he's tight with his dad. He's a coach. He's
like good friends with his dad, and Ty was like contemplating going back or not, and obviously he ends up coming to the draft because he felt like he had a guarantee and goes to the Rams at 13. I don't know, dude. It is a sketchy situation. And also, I saw a report that it said, and this could be completely wrong because I can't believe that they would take a quarterback if this is true, but it said that Ty Simpson has never actually met with Sean McVay, which I find that so hard to believe. They said that Ty Simpson was in the building in LA for a visit. If that was true, you would think Sean McVay would be there if Ty Simpson was visiting. Like a future quarterback, there's just no way he's just like, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, I mean, probably for Sean, it's like it's the competitor in Sean McVay. If he maybe didn't like it, it's like, you know, guy wants to win a Super Bowl, and Ty Simpson doesn't do anything to help him do that right now. So it's I can see why he would have that reaction, but I get the Rams trying to plan for the future. I'm just not like, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Like, I don't know. The Rams they're trying to win a Super Bowl. They make all these aggressive moves, and then I guess they're trying to like do both. I guess like, do you make aggressive moves and you plan for the future? It's like what the Packers did. But remember, the Packers did that with Jordan Love, and they didn't. And Aaron Rodgers was pissed.
Well, they did that with Aaron Rodgers.
NFC championship games, and they never ended up making a Super Bowl with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers because he's probably thinking, you guys could have taken a freaking
receiver. That's what I think he was thinking. I think Aaron Rodgers at the time wanted, like, hey, can you get me a weapon? Remember at that time, I think the Packers never drafted a wide receiver first round when Aaron Rodgers was there. And he was like, can I get something?
Yeah, which is insane. So like that's interesting. I don't know. He's gonna have to sit a couple of years he'll sit probably 2 years there. But yeah, Lucas loves him. I don't love Ty Simpson. I think that it's a very risky pick, but he's just a very interesting prospect. He only has 1 year starting experience. I don't know. And he's not going to play games. So he's going to rest for 2 years, practice a lot, and then get thrown into a game. He has only started 1 year at Alabama. So I don't know. Who knows?
I'm so interested. Honestly, I'm so interested to see. I think he just has more work, to be done. And when you take a guy like that, it's just that you could develop. But I don't know. I'm with you in the Jordan Love thing. He's good, but has he been the quarterback that you thought? I don't know.
By the way, drop your mailbag questions. You guys got any draft stuff? Thoughts on tonight?
Oh,
thoughts
here we
on
go.
yesterday? Thoughts for whatever.
This should be fun.
Whatever you guys want to talk about, drop them in the chat. Rich says, in my opinion, I would have gone with Freeling. He was the BPA and had the higher ceiling. Well, he was the BPA to you, Rich. And he was the BPA to many. But he clearly wasn't the BPA to Brad. Okay. And that's just the reality. Okay. I mean, we can like Monroe Freeling. If you're upset about it, I'm not mad at you for it. But to crash out over it and be like, this guy stinks is ridiculous.
Yeah. Dude, I think too, like if you think he's a higher ceiling BPA, is he ready? Is he going to be ready to go year one? That's still up in the air. So that's where I think Brad was like, hey, we need a guy right now. That's where I think Brad's mind went a little bit.
What's going on?
I mean, let's be respectful.
Hey, what about this comment? Big Ant-Man. Is anybody else nervous about moving Sewell to the left side? I remember he had some struggles when we moved him to right.
I'm not. I think the struggles because he was a rookie.
It's because he never played it. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to be just fine. It might take a little bit, maybe, but like he's a 5-year vet now in the NFL. He is arguably the best offensive lineman in the entire NFL. I don't think there's a worry. Look at what Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs moved and was an All-Pro right away.
Yeah, I think it's different with Panay because Panay was a left tackle coming out, and they made him play right tackle, and he struggled a little bit. and he got it, and he's great. But it's not like Panay playing left he was a left tackle in college. The reason why he went 7th overall is because he was playing left tackle.
Yeah.
So he's a left tackle. So I don't think it's going to be. He's got.
I think he's going to be better at left tackle.
I think it's going to take him
he's
like
already great.
It's going to take him like 2 practices, and then he's like, "I'm good. Let's go."
100%.
You know?
That's what Dan said. Dan or he told Panay. I think Panay. He said Panay told him like, I just need a little bit. I'll be good to go. Like I just need a couple days. I'll be fine.
Let's see here. Tim says, if I'm the GM, I'm drafting defense with every pick the rest of the way. The offense is set. I actually don't mind that. I'm cool with that. The only thing on offense I care about is offensive line. If you want to take a tight end, cool, but defense the rest of the way. I got no issue with that. I got no issue. Tim says, I guarantee MCDC told Sewell months ago he was going to left tackle. Dude has probably been practicing every day in his backyard.
For sure. He did confirm, too, that he did tell him at the league meetings. He was like, we've already spoken with him that that's a possibility, and I want to do it.
Oh,
dude, I want to see Panay, dude. It's gonna be cool to see Panay on the left side, though. And you know who that helps out? I don't think people like realize a little bit. You know who that helps out? What do we talk about all the time, Juicy J, about with players that play next to Panay? Like he elevates the guard's game because you're playing next to Panay Sewell. Like Panay can help alleviate some of the slack. You know, if you mess up, boom, Panay's there to help you. If you have questions, Panay's right there. Like
that's what helps
everything with
Ratledge.
So that it helped Ratledge in year 1. So now you have Panay playing with Christian Mahogany a little bit, or Miles Frazier, whoever it may be. That's going to help elevate whoever that left guard, because left guard is the last part of this offensive line right now. That's like the question mark, is that left guard.
Yeah,
that elevates the left guard a little bit more and helps that out. So I think that I think that's another positive to moving Panay to left.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take a left guard at 50. By the way, blitzing line, that'd be crazy. I guess never say never, but no. They should take a lineman, but a defensive lineman, and left guard is. I'm good. Keys to Wisdom mailbag. How about a developmental QB later in the draft? I think we should get a guy with a potential future for QB3. He says, look at Purdy, man. Last pick of the draft, should always swing on a developmental quarterback late to have one in the system. I'm curious to see if the Lions end up taking a quarterback at some point in this draft.
I wouldn't be shocked.
It's worth the swing. I mean, it really is. It's worth the swing, man. I don't know who that would be. I mean, if it's Sawyer Robinson, Cole Payton, even Doc's guy, Taylon Green, whoever it is, they should take a swing on a quarterback late. It's harmless if it's a late round pick. But maybe like a 5th or a 6th round pick, 7th round pick. That's what I mean. Not like a 4th. I think 3rd and 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round pick should be guys that you can, that it should be guys that can contribute. But late in the draft, why not? Matt says, Flannel Sam's position on wanting to call Sewell the best right tackle ever is so odd. It would feel like a consolation prize. What happened with Flannel Sam and Sewell?
Well, Flannel Sam and Sewell, Flannel wants to keep him at right tackle. His reasoning is because he could be the best right tackle of all time. And it was like, why not be the best right tackle and left tackle of all time? Just the best tackle of all time. That was the thought process, I think. But that was like Flannel said it last night too when we were talking about it. But I think it's just like, dude, like he's already one of the greatest. Like obviously, you can't say greatest right tackles of all time because he's only played 5 years. But like he's the best right tackle in the league right now, and it's not like everyone knows that. He's probably the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now. Most people know that. So it's like moving him to left. It's like Tristan Wirfs. Like people we've definitely had like Bucs fans in our comments being like
JT.
Give me Tristan Wirfs, because Tristan Wirfs is all pro at right tackle and left tackle, and he's the only offensive player or lineman to ever be all pro at both. So it's like, why not get that with Panay? Like I think that's another like a very good argument. Like, hey, he could be all pro at both sides of the ball. Like that makes you that much better, in my opinion.
And he's such an incredible athlete. He can do it. He could do it. He could thrive. I mean, I've said it before. I think Panay could be all pro at every position on the O-line. I mean, he's just that good. He's just that good, man. So I don't care where. I would rather him protect Jared Goff's blind side. 1,000%. Let's see. Tim says, how about drafting Hendon Hooker in round 3? Could be a steal.
Again, I don't want any developmental guys right now.
Hey, what bets did you hit last night, by the way?
Oh, dude, I had the bonus bets at Bet 365, and I showed you I put a big wager with my bonus bet on Caleb Banks to go in the first round, and he went like 18th or 19th. Yeah, like a really good, like a good hit, like a massive hit. I was like fired up. It was like plus, when I put it in, it was like plus 350. The only thought I hit the parlay that I sent earlier in the week, where it was Caleb Banks plus 500 to go in the first round, and it was Caleb Downs top 10. I thought Caleb Downs went 10. He went 11. So I hit yesterday. I hit the Caleb Banks one. I hit defensive lineman and edge over 7.5 of them at plus 125. Kalen Rutledge at plus 600 to go in the first round. Hit that. That was plus 600. That was a massive hit too. Mansour Delane under 9.5 at plus 104. Those were kind of the hits. And then obviously Caleb Banks, I also had the bet in on that plus like 3 something. That was a massive wager on that.
Caleb Banks, man, that's crazy. Detroit's own.
He went so early. And I think honestly, it was shocking that the sports books, like, he was a projected first round pick, right? During the process, medicals, some stuff happened with medicals. I think it was like foot, ankle. Started projecting him in the second round, to fall maybe late first, early second.
He went before Peter Woods.
Yeah, he was the first defensive tackle, I think, off the board. Sports books had him at plus 600 or plus 500 at one point this week because of the medicals, and no one thought he was going to go in the first. And then all of a sudden, medicals come out, get sent to teams. He still only moved at like plus 380 or something. Like, he did not, his line did not move that crazy. You would think that a guy like that who's a projected first would be like minus 100, even plus 100. The value on that was incredible, dude.
Yeah, I should have went with you on that, because I mean someone's going to take him in the first round just based off measurables and potential,
dude.
You know what I mean? That was,
he has it all. I mean, he puts it all together. I mean, you're looking like it's going to be a good detail.
I would rather have Peter Woods over him if I was the Vikings, but I understand why they would take a guy like that. I mean, he's 6'6".
Clemson, by the way, quietly is going to have a bunch of players come out of the first round.
And what'd they do with it? Nothing.
Or the first 2 rounds. I was sorry, not the first round.
And what'd they do with it? Nothing.
Literally nothing.
That's crazy. I mean, you got Blake Miller, TJ Parker, Peter Woods, Terrell, Antonio Williams, and they did nothing with all that. Jay says Taylor Green is asser than Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
Anthony Richardson went top 5, dude.
Yeah, that's insane. Looking back, that's insane, dude. I mean, to think that draft, that's why, like, every year there's always going to be things that happen in the draft that are just shocking. And like this year, this draft, like this first round was one of the more fun drafts to cover because there was so much stuff that happened that, like, I don't know, Arvel Reese even falling a couple picks. It was just like Sonny Styles' fault. Like, everyone went a little later than expected, which made the anticipation even more fun. Like, everyone was just sliding a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and which made it more fun because you're like, like, here we go. And
trades.
The take goes higher.
I think last year there was maybe only like 3 or 4 trades in the first round. I feel like yesterday there was a bunch. Like, there was 3 or 4 trades at that back half of the draft on its own.
Let's see here.
I was shocked too, by the way. I thought there was going to be a team in the top 5 that traded out. I think the Cardinals or the Titans. I thought one of them would trade out. And honestly, I'm really shocked that the Titans ended up not going Sonny Styles.
Yeah. They're just all in on their quarterback, I guess is the reality. I mean, it's just they're all in on their quarterback. Carnell Tate. I don't know, man. It's like the Cardinals taking Jeremiah Love. It's like he's a great player, but while the Cardinals win 6 games for the next like year or two, 3 games next year probably, and then 6 games the next year, you're going to waste 2 years of Jeremiah Love's career, which pisses me off. But
that one made me mad, and that was because of what you just said. Like, you're just not ready. I was saying it on the show last night. You're just not ready for a running back in that building. You're not. And you just got Tyler Algier. If I was Tyler Algier, dude, I'd be so mad. Like, why did I sign this contract if you guys were going to go Jeremiah Love? Like, I literally just left.
Well, James Conner they brought back too.
And James Conner, dude. And they have who's the third guy? Yeah, dude, what are they doing over there?
Yeah, they'll probably
maybe they trade one of them.
Yeah, I don't. That one was confusing to me. I mean, they could have easily taken like. You should have been able to try to. I mean, I don't know. There would have been teams calling up to try and trade up for that pick, but it's the Brad Holmes thing, man. It's the best player available thing.
EPA, man. You just do it and figure it out.
He's a guaranteed hit. I mean, you can't get fired. If your job's on the line like it is every draft, I get it. It's like we're just going to take a guy that the owner can't say anything to me about. It's like, hey, I took arguably the best player in the draft. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. What are you going to do? They traded back and took Francis Maui Noah, and he was a bust. Now you look like a jackass. So I kind of understand like both perspectives of that. Matt says, I'm so happy the Jets took Sadiq, so Brad wasn't tempted. Yeah, I said that earlier too, Matt. I don't
think Brad was ever going to take Kenyon Sadiq. The fact that you know what, Rod Wood kind of screwed up putting out some of the cards before, being like, we're going to pay all 4 of our guys, because then that means like Kenyon Sadiq was off the board for them if they were going to pay Sam. Like if he was like, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know, we have to see how things go. But Rod Wood was just like, oh yeah, we're paying Sam Laporta. It's like, all right, well, you just ruined.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. We appreciate it.
Because the way, honestly, I thought Brad had good smoke screens, but Brad actually kind of confirmed in the press conference last night that he was like, we had a massive target on our back that we were of our offensive tackle. And he was like, we were a little nervous about that. So it was like, they did not want that to get, like, obviously, yeah, we needed a tackle, but the fact that they were obviously like, they loved Caden Proctor and all these different reports were coming out. Brad was probably like, dude, like, we might have to waste assets to go up and get a tackle when we could have just got one at 17. Like, come on. Like, and I think that's partially to like, even Rod Wood being like, we're paying everyone, man. Instead of like leaving it open a little bit for people to be like, well, maybe they get the tight end because Sam Laporta's good.
It's like, damn it, Rod. Just
keep your mouth shut. Stop talking. Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, dude. It's like, what are we doing? He probably did kind of blow that a little bit. Because they, offensive talent, everyone. And that's honestly, I'm surprised. No, and this is why people remember the report that Ian was talking about. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if teams jumped the Lions. No one tried to jump the Lions for any of those players. So Brad being patient worked out. It was the right decision for him to just wait. It was the right decision. So
yeah,
good on him. He could have been like, I'm trading up. But guess what? No, I don't think he would have been able to.
I'll tell you what, dude. Over the next 3 or 4 years, Jeff, I really hope Blake Miller plays better than Monroe Freeling.
Yeah. I mean, people are gonna. This is gonna be that.
That's a haunting one, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's gonna be one of those things. What's another comparison for that? Like. Did the Lions could the Lions have taken Bijan Robinson? I think so. And they traded back.
Wait, no, I don't think so.
Let me see this. Yeah, they could have.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because they picked 6th. Bijan went 8th. They traded back and got Jahmyr Gibbs, and people are like, you could add Bijan.
Oh, wow.
So that's like the debate too. That like reminds me of this Monroe feeling. Not that it's the same exact situation, but it's going to be like Bijan versus Jahmyr. It's going to be like Monroe versus Blake Miller.
And
Like-
yeah, that's tough. And you know what? I'm gonna be standing on the Blake Miller hill now. I'm on the Blake Miller hill. Hold
Yeah,
my
that
ground.
one. That was a Bijan Robinson guy. So yeah, you could add. You could tell I've grown a lot over the years because even then I was like, man, this guy's a great player. And they took a running back in the first round, which obviously I was not a big fan of, but I was higher on Bijan Robinson. Obviously, most people were. Everybody was. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs was he was a way better pro. I mean, he is just an incredible player as a pro. But that takes a good GM to see that. Like, how are they going to translate into the NFL? And that's where, like, the Blake Miller thing, it's like he was a steady Eddie player in college, just like 50-something starts, but maybe in the NFL, he just continuously maybe that's Monroe Freeling, though. Maybe Monroe Freeling comes in and becomes like an all-pro tackle. See, like, this is where it's like,
That's where if he becomes all pro, we're like everyone's gonna always look back and be like, well, he was right there. He was right there.
for sure.
And that's where I think the scary part of it comes in.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's why being a GM, man, you're going to get screwed. I mean, you're under the spotlight always. So no matter
He's
what,
in
Brad.
Carolina. Wait, he went to Carolina, right? Carolina. I mean, they're a playoff team too. So he went to another playoff team.
Yeah, he went to Carolina.
And who are their tackles? Let me go see real quick.
I think they have a left. I don't know if he's a right tackle or a left tackle.
I mean, in here right now, they have their starting left tackle. They have Taylor Moton as their right tackle, and then Akeem Ikwonu.
Yeah, he's really good, but I think he's hurt. Maybe they have Monroe try and play right over there.
Let me see. I want to pull up to see. I mean, Taylor Moton, that's their right tackle. He's the 14th highest graded right tackle per PFF last year. So
Maybe they're developing him then.
Top 15 tackle, and their left tackle was 34th. So they have two good tackles. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah, Taylor Moton, he's also 31. So maybe they're looking at him for like, hey, this guy.
Future, yeah, maybe they are letting Monroe Freeling just develop a little bit.
Yeah, damn, he was good. He had high grades on PFF. See, this is one of those PFF.
Both of them did. Both of them did. Both of their tackles.
Played at Western Michigan, by the way. Did not know that.
Really?
Yeah. Blitzing Lion says, I would love Jake Galday or TJ Parker in day 2. Keys to Wisdom says Stafford would have loved Sadiq. Has to hate the Simpson pick. Yeah, I guess they could have had Sadiq too. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. They could have gone a lot of different directions. They could have got, obviously, a wide receiver.
I think Stafford's pissed.
I would be too if I was him.
Yeah.
When you have an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl and you just looked about the future when it's like, hey, you could have honestly, like, if you really wanted to, and when if I retire next year, whatever it is, like, and I actually heard someone say it, Jeff. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they said if I was the Rams, it was someone on like NFL Network or something. They were like, if I was the Rams, I would not take Ty Simpson. This was about a day or two ago. I wouldn't take Ty Simpson because there was obviously the rumors that they really loved him. And they said, I would just go get someone to help Matthew Stafford win a Super Bowl. And as soon as Matthew Stafford retires, there is right now a current Pro Bowl quarterback in the league playing for a different football team that would be like, I'll go play for the Rams. Look what Stafford did there. Like a Dak Prescott or like another player that's like, you know what? I can't win where I am. I'm at a point in my career. And you kind of make that move again, like you did for Stafford. And you don't have to give up first or anything, but you find a guy that's like willing to maybe going into free agency that's a Pro Bowler guy or a guy that you could trade for, and you make that move. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I would have done that if I was Les Snead. It does feel like there was something with Les Snead to where, yeah, he knows his dad. Like, oh, like that feels weird. And if I was Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, I would be a little taken aback by that pick.
Like even like Devin, he says you can't do both at the same time. Look at the Falcons. I think it's even worse with the Rams though, because the Falcons were contenders. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rams are are legit Super Bowl contenders. So I think it's worse. But you're all right though, Devin. Like the Falcons tried to do both. They tried to do both, or they're trying to do both. the Rams are, and it's probably going to backfire because Ty Simpson's going to contribute nothing in the next 2 years while Matthew Stafford's playing. And just like Michael Penix, I mean, he ended up starting. I mean, he doesn't look like a franchise quarterback. He got hurt, but at least the Falcons knew, like, hey, we're probably going to be mid, and it's not going to work out. But this Rams one, it's like you're so close. You were in the NFC Championship last year. It's like you were so close.
And the year before, I mean, you were a possession away from beating the Eagles and went and won the Super Bowl. Like you the last 2 years, they've been right there.
Like let's say it's not even Sadiq. Like you could have taken like a tackle or a guard, like Vega. You could have taken Vega, just throw him at guard. I don't know, whoever the hell they could have taken, offensive line.
Yeah, they kind of blew that pick, to be honest. I think that was more than I think about it. I like the Ty Simpson. Like Klotz is like, I love the pick. And I told Klotz, I said, I like the Ty Simpson thing. I can see why people are mad. And as we talk about it, as we talk about it a little bit more, I do realize, wait a second, yeah, you could have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. That could have been a guy for the Rams.
They went a different direction, man. You can't no longer go out and get a guy. Like it's Ty Simpson or nothing at this point after Stafford leaves.
MD Gladiator says Gabe Jacques has been my guy since last fall. Love that dude. State champ wrestler.
And you know who else is a big time wrestler?
Who?
Blake Miller.
You could tell the way he plays. That guy he puts people on their ass. He does. I mean, I know in our group chat they were like sending him giving up a sack. It's like, dude, he gave up like 2 sacks all year.
2 sacks all year.
Yeah, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
And let me even check. Hold on, let me check in 2024. Like he gave up 1 sack in 2024, 2 sacks in 23, and 2 sacks in 2022. So he's never given up more than 2 sacks in a season.
Like, go for every play you send with him, like giving up a sack, go watch plays of him like finishing blocks. Like, dude, putting people on their ass, and when they sit up, he just like nose dives into them.
You know what's actually a really interesting thing for him too? His freshman year in 2022, he played over 800 snaps. Obviously, he had 9 penalties his freshman year, Jeff, and gave up 2 sacks. But if you look at it in 23, played around the same amount of snaps. Instead of 9 penalties, he gave up 6 penalties. So he got better. And then in 2024, trying to improve, like, how can I improve? He had more snaps, 860 snaps, and only gave up only had 1 penalty all year in 2024, and only gave up 1 sack in 2024. That's it. So he improved. And then in his senior year, 800 snaps, he played more snaps, but he gave up 5 penalties this last year. But again, Clemson was in a blender this last year.
That's why.
But either way, you saw the improvement.
We were talking about this yesterday. In 2024, he was projected to be a high pick after that junior season. He was projected to be a high pick. And then senior year, he drops down a little bit, but
he legit has improved every year, boys.
Yeah. And how do you improve? You got to play. You got to play games, man. Like, that's how you get better. You got to play, and you figure out what a player is. Like, I kind of get the high floor stuff. I do. Like,
dude,
Earl Freeling only has 18 starts. He has not even half of Blake Miller's starts. Like, he has 18 to, like, Blake Miller's like 50 something. He's played in significantly more games. I mean,
can I give you an example here? Ready for this? Let's just start his freshman year, all right? I'm just going to start with overall PFF grade. I know people don't like PFF grade, but just overall PFF grade. His freshman year, it was 69.5. Sophomore year, comes back, 74.2. So it goes from 69 to 74. Sophomore to junior year goes from 74 to 75. And then his junior year to senior year goes from 75 to 77. So every single year, his PFF grade just improved every single season. And if you want to talk about like his pass block grade, started his freshman year at 66. Sophomore year up to 73, junior year up to 77, and then his senior year, Jeff, his pass block grade went all the way up to 81.6. It improved year after year. His run grade improved. His junior and senior year was about the same, but it improved from his freshman year all the way up to his senior year. Like, he just got better and better and better, man.
Simo says Freeling is a monster, though. Yeah, there's no denying that. I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo on Monroe Freeling. I'm not doing that.
No.
But we're just giving you the case for Blake Miller. We'll get out of here. We'll be live tonight, 6:30, day 2. Come tune in. Come hang out. We'll be covering day 2 of the NFL draft, rounds 2 and 3, what the Lions do at 50, and then potentially trading back or trading up into the 3rd round. We'll cover it all.
Hey, predictions, Jeff, real quick. Position.
I feel like edge is too obvious.
I'm rolling. I think I'm rolling linebacker. Give me a linebacker.
I'll go edge then. We'll set to make it interesting.
Linebacker and edge.
You go linebacker.
All right. Hey, love that. Let's have a night. See you guys tonight.
All right.
Day 2.